I think it's so petty, Ron DeSantis says. I think it's so juvenile. I don't think that's what voters want. And honestly, I think that his conduct, which he's been doing for years now, I think that's one of the reasons he's not in the White House. Ron DeSantis on Donald Trump today. Joining us now is Karoline Leavitt. She is the spokeswoman for MAGA Inc., the super PAC backing Donald Trump. Joins us now from her home state of New Hampshire, right? Home state, Karoline, I think. Thanks for being back with us here on the Hill. What do you make of those comments from Ron DeSantis, saying that one of the reasons that Donald Trump isn't the commander-in-chief still is because of the name-calling and some of the attacks?
Yeah, well, Ron DeSantis clearly hasn't taken a good look at the polls because President Trump continues to dominate here in New Hampshire by more than 30 points. He's up in Iowa by more than 30 points. And many voters are asking after DeSantis's visit here today, how to even pronounce his name. It's a question that the governor's team today literally refused to answer. Is it DeSantis? Is it DeSantis? Reporters asked the campaign. They said no comment. Why? Because he can't even get his own name straight, the pronunciation of his own name, just like he can't get policy straight. He's been flip-flopping on key positions such as where he stands on Ukraine. That's why voters trust President Trump. According to a recent Morning Consult poll, President Trump is killing DeSantis on every single issue. The economy, immigration, crime, guns, border security, you name it, President Trump is winning.
All right, so that's part of the...
He has delivered before and he will deliver again.
Clearly part of the argument that Trump world is making. I want to play a soundbite, if we have it real quick, of Ron DeSantis starting to make his case today as to why 8 years might be better than 4. We'll get your reaction on the other side. Watch.
When people say that they're going to slay the deep state in a day or 6 months, I'm sorry. This is something that only a 2-term president is going to be able to bring to fruition. Because the bureaucrats will just wait you out if you're a lame duck president. They'll wait you out. As soon as you're gone, they'll change and they'll go back to no. So, anyone that says that they can slay the deep state in 6 months should be asked, why didn't you do that when you had 4 years to try to do that?
What do you make of the comments there, Karoline? He's basically saying 8's better than 4.
There's one candidate in this race who the deep state, the Washington establishment on both sides of the aisle don't want to run and be the nominee again, and that's Donald Trump. It is not Ron DeSantis. In fact, he is backed by the billion-dollar war machine and the establishment donor class that despise Donald Trump because Donald Trump...
But what about the argument, though, that Ron DeSantis is making, basically saying... Okay, go for it. I'll let you go.
Because Donald Trump delivered on his promises to the American people throughout the past 4 years. It was arguably one of the most successful administrations in American history. You had the secure border, you had the booming economy, you had the reinvigoration of our domestic energy production. Donald Trump did all of that despite all of the attacks from the media, from both sides of the aisle. He's been attacked more than any presidential candidate in history. I don't think anyone can deny that. And Ron DeSantis is obviously afraid of that, just like the establishment and his donor class is too.
The former president's vice president, Mike Pence, is expected to be jumping into the race about 6 days from now. Will do so in Iowa. It's essentially the vice president trying to unseat the de facto leader of the Republican Party. You're in the Trump orbit. Do you take exception to Mike Pence trying to do that?
No, look, I don't think Mike Pence has a path to this nomination, just like Chris Christie or Chris Sununu doesn't have a path either. But they're all welcome to jump in and race for second place. And I think they all are because they sense Ron DeSantis is a weak candidate. The more he goes out to Iowa and New Hampshire, the worse he does in the polls. So there is blood in the water with this Republican primary. It's a real shame for the American people who have made their voices clear state after state, poll after poll. Donald Trump is the leader of this party. Republicans would have been wise to band together so we can take this fight to Joe Biden, but they've chosen their path, so let the games begin.
All right, Karoline Leavitt from the MAGA Inc. PAC. Karoline, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.